Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm sharing this video. It's from a dash cam of a sheriff's unit in Alachua County, which is very close to where I live, and there was a traffic stop that I wanted to share with you guys. So check out this video and then I'm going to come back and talk about it.
Romeo, Texas, 1414. Romeo, 64, Romeo, 74.
Yes, sir. Do you mind stepping back here with your driver's license, please? Just because we have video cameras in the car, that's all. Do you mind stepping back here for me? I appreciate it. And just take your hand out of your pocket. Just stand right here, sir. I'm Deputy Tyler with the Alachua County Sheriff's Office. The reason I'm stopping you is it appears your window tint is too dark. Okay. I got a tent meter. Okay. Is there anybody else in the car first with you? Okay. With your permission, I'll go back up there with you. We'll roll it down halfway. If it's too dark, we continue. If it's legal, send you on your way. Okay. Okay. So just hold on to your license for me, okay? And I'll go up there with you. Do you mind rolling the window down? Sure. For me. No guns, knives, bombs, bazookas, anything like that?
I have a CCW.
Is it on you?
Yes.
Okay, where is it? All right, just don't reach for it. Will you stand back here for me?
Sure.
I see your CCW. Go ahead and stand right here. And just keep your hands above the hood of the car, okay?
Okay. Right here.
88110. Can you send me a 38, please? I know it's a legal right to carry it, and I'm fine with that. I appreciate you telling me. Just give me a second, okay? I'm going to run your... Deputy Drake's going to stay here with you, okay? I'm going to go run the thing to make sure this is a valid stop. And if it's a valid stop, we'll continue, okay? Without taking your hands off the car, what type of gun is it? Or did he already ask you that?
No.
Okay. What type of gun is it, sir?
Glock 19.
Glock 19? Okay. The window tint is 16 on the driver's window. All right, it can't be below 28. All right, so it is a legal traffic stop, so we can continue. Okay. I would feel much better if you would let me take the gun and put it in my car, or put it back in your car, and then I'll feel better about it. Is that okay with you?
You want me to put it back in my car?
I'm going to take it off you and put it into your car. I'm going to pick it up, put it on the driver's seat, and if you go to the car, I'll take it as active aggression, okay? I'm just giving you a heads up, all right? Okay. So just don't go back and run back to the car, okay?
Okay.
So keep your hands right there. It's left-handed? Right-handed?
Right.
Will you pat him now? Okay. Let me tell you what I do. I'm going to run your license, make sure it's valid, everything's good. And do you mind handing me that concealed weapon permit as well? I appreciate your cooperation. I really do. And is the vehicle registered to you?
Yes.
By chance? Okay.
Yes.
Do you have the insurance card in your wallet as well?
That would be in my car.
It's in the glove box? Where at in the glove box? Or in the car, excuse me.
It's probably in my glove box.
Okay.
It could be in my armrest. I'm not sure.
Do you have any problems with the deputy trying to locate it? Now that I put your gun back there, I just really don't want you going right back there.
Okay.
Is that okay? Or?
If that's what you guys want to do.
I have to see proof of insurance.
And this is all standard for me? For my
absolutely. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
The issues with the gun are just a safety issue for us.
I'm in the firearms industry, so I understand. I have a lot of friends that are police officers.
We just want to be safe.
Right.
And you said...
I mean, this is just getting a little, getting a little much for my windows being tinted, but...
Well, we're just conducting a traffic stop for the window tint.
Right.
The other issue is because you have the firearm on you, it's just we want to be safe, that's all.
I understand that.
We want to do it safe, that's all.
And you had no problem with
I'm in the firearms industry, so
okay.
I understand.
Awesome.
Okay.
I appreciate it, sir.
Right.
You just hang tight for a second.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get you out of here as soon as I can.
You good? I'm going to do 10-8.
Thanks, Sarge. Romeo 884-2729 by DL number.
Right.
So far.
So far.
Subject also has a concealed weapons permit. Do you mind running that as well? Do you need a number off of it or just by his name and date of birth?
If you have the numbers, that would be great.
Simple. Number is... So far.
So far.
Can you also run a Glock 19 black handgun? Serial number is Papa Uniform Yankee PUY. It's on the front seat, just to let you know. What is that beeping noise? Writing a warning. What's that? Yeah. What? Or you just hang out just because of that gun?
Who's that?
I put it back in his front seat.
Oh, is it on it?
Yeah, it was. So we patted him down and everything, but... What's that?
Job is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I give him one?
No, but if it comes up, you can mention it. If he asks, like, if it's taking too long or whatever.
Romeo 884-1065.
Good.
Driver's going to be 72. He's 5429. Computer with a valid Class C plus motorcycle endorsement that expires in 2018. So far?
So far.
The signal zero is 5429 no record found, and he does have a concealed weapon permit that is valid, expires on 20.
Okay, so there it goes. I just wanted to share with you guys the footage of what happened there. I did put in some sound effects to take out my driver's license and my CCW numbers, as well as my name. You know, Hank Strange is not my real name. It's really close to what my real name is, but I don't use my real name because it's kind of boring. Also, I want to protect the family. So, you know, that's why I do that, and that's why I took that stuff out. Other than that, there's the raw footage for you guys to look at. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is that there's a lot of things going on out there in the news today, lots of things happening with civilians like myself and police officers, good things and bad things. And, you know, we've got this controversy that's looming out there. And I have friends, as you heard me say in that video, I have friends who are in law enforcement, all the way from police officers up to the FBI. Now, I understand what it is to have to do a job like that from the perspective that I can, although I've never done it. I understand it, I get it. And I have friends who are always saying to me, you know what, we want you to maybe go out there and do some ride-alongs with us so you can understand what we're going through and see how it is for us and what we're facing. And I understand that, and I think there's some merits to that, and I may do those kinds of things in the future. But I'm here sharing what's happening with me in my journey with firearms on this YouTube channel. And I think it's kind of my responsibility when something like that happens to me to share that with you guys, because I'm a good guy. I follow the laws, you know, I have a CCW and all that kind of stuff. And I think there's lots of people, those who look like me and who don't look like me out there, that go through these kinds of things. And as you know, the most important thing in what happened in that video is that I'm still here to talk about it. And that's what I want to tell you guys. I think there's some stuff that happened there that maybe wasn't right. You know, I don't know what the laws are exactly. You guys would know that stuff, or you can discuss that, of whether or not that officer should have disarmed me. But to me, first of all, I just want to say that wasn't the most important thing that I was thinking about when all this stuff went down. And just to go back a little bit to let you guys know what happened, my dad, who lives in New York, was in Florida, you know, doing some business out here. He was actually in Clearwater during the week of Easter. So a few days before Easter, he said, hey, you know, come out, pick me up. I'll come out and hang out with you guys where you live. He loves it out here. He loves to come visit. It reminds him of where he was born and where I was born, which is Guyana. So I went and got my dad, and we hung out here. He spent time with the family. My sons were really happy to see him. So was Lola. We don't really get a chance to see him that much. And on Easter Sunday, I took him back to the airport in Tampa so that he can get on his plane and fly back to New York. So when this particular thing happened, I had driven from where I live here, which is in the Gainesville area. I'm about 20-30 miles outside of Gainesville, west of Gainesville. And I had driven from here all the way to Tampa in this car. However it's set up, you know, those guys said that they pulled me over because of my tint. Well, I've had the car for about 4 or 5 months. You guys have seen that if you follow my social media. The tints have been on there from the beginning. And I drove all the way to Tampa to the airport and drove almost all the way back home before I ran into that issue. And I'll explain to you what my friends who grew up around here, what their ideas of why that particular thing happened. But I just want to let you know what I was thinking. And I was thinking, I have 2 sons at home waiting for me. You know, Lola's at work right now, and what I want to do is get home safely. That's my first priority. I won't argue with you that maybe I had some rights and, you know, different things that were violated a little bit, but that's not so important when you run into something like this. And that's part of what I'm trying to tell you guys. From my perspective and from the perspective of anyone going through that, think about what's more important. Your rights, so what you can do and what you can't do, or getting back home safely to your family. To me, it's always more important to get back to my sons. I've given up a lot of things to raise my boys, and I'm going to make sure I do that. Okay, I think it's really important for me as a father on lots of different levels. So that's what was most important to me, and I took care of that. It's just, you know, if you look at the video, you'll see that the particular officer that was dealing with me, and it may look to you like there was just one police officer there. There were actually several sheriffs there. I don't know whether they're police officers or sheriffs or whatever you call them, but there were several of them out there. They were actually, here in Florida, you can request the footage. So I requested it, but there were about 3 units that pulled me over. And when I was driving down the road, I saw a heavy police presence out there that day. Now, they were, the electronic billboards were out a few days before this saying that there was going to be traffic in that area. And I didn't really worry about it. I didn't think anything about it. But my friends who have lived here for a long time say that in that area, which is very close to where I live, I'm going to say maybe about 10 miles from where I live, there's a family out there that has a party every year on Easter Sunday, and it gets violent. There's guns, drugs involved, there's shootings, there's lots of fights and things like that that happen at that party. And just in case you're wondering what kind of folks that is, I don't know them, but from my understanding of talking to people, they happen to be a black family. So they get up to some shenanigans on Easter Sunday. And my friends who are actually, or who were in the sheriff's department, said to me, that's why there was a heavy presence out there. And I saw it. I'm going to say conservatively, there was at least 15 units, marked sheriff units out there that I saw. And so what was happening is that I saw these guys, I was, you know, doing the speed limit and everything. And there was traffic behind me and traffic in front of me. And if you look at the video, you'll see that there was someone in front of me, someone behind me. And that officer that pulled me over was on the opposite side of the road and U-turned when he saw me. But they also had another spotter out there that saw me clearly. When I passed him, he was looking in the windshield. We both made eye contact. So if you look, you'll see that they cut off the guy that was behind me. And the guy in front of me and myself both slowed down, but they were going after me and they pulled me over. And the guy that did all of that was saying, you know, they asked me, first of all, to get out of the vehicle. And that's why you see me get out. And I'm like, you know, what's up? Why do you need me to get out? And they said they're pulling me over because of my tint. So I understand that for police officers, that's a good reason. That's your universal reason that you can use to pull anyone over. It's happened to me before, but no one ever made me get out of the car because of tints. You know, usually you just go through the process, test the tints or whatever that is. That doesn't really matter. So I was wondering, hey, why are you guys making me get out? Why are there all these units, about 3 units pulled up, including the sheriff himself? You don't really see him in that video, but if you look closely, you'll see him. He's very wisely standing off camera, and he gives me his business card, and I actually wound up sharing that on social media on Facebook, and that's where I got the feedback from my friends that said, you know what, your problem on that day was not the tints, it was the fact that you're black, and there's a black family out there having this party. And so basically what they do every year is they pull over lots of black folks and harass them in order to deal with that situation. And the officer that did that, you know, he asked me, well, are you armed? Now, in Florida, I guess you don't have to say that you're armed, but seeing that they went to all this trouble, having all these guys come out there, when I was standing out there, you'll see anywhere from 3 to 4 people, you know, officers out there standing around me. I figured, you know what, let me let these guys know, because if this, you know, how can I put it to you? Shit got real, you know? So if they decide to pat me down or something like that and find my my sidearm, could get bad. So like I told you, I want to get home. So I told him, I showed him my CCW, and as you see on the video, that wasn't good enough for him. He said he felt uncomfortable. And this is the part where I want to talk to my friends that are in law enforcement. I mean, you know, I've got my issues with the whole traffic stop, but for those guys in body armor to feel uncomfortable with me, obviously, I must be a good guy. I'm showing you my CCW. I'm telling you that I'm armed, and they feel uncomfortable to the point that they want to disarm me. I think you guys need to think about the other side of what you're doing, because I get what you're doing and how it's dangerous. However, what do you think? How do you think I felt? Because I felt pretty uncomfortable out there, right? You know, I'm being honest and straightforward with you guys. It's lots of you in body armor and guns, and you're disarming me. You know, then you see them pat me down. Actually, because you don't, I asked them for all the footage. They only gave me this one piece of footage, but all those units would have footage, but they didn't give it to me. You know, and then they cut it off. They don't show you the whole thing. They start where they want to, and they end where they want to. And I shared everything that they sent to me with you guys. So the thing is that, you know, I think you have to have some level of understanding for someone like myself. I'm doing all this stuff. You know, the reason why I was armed with this is not to be sexy. It's not about power. It is about safety and security, but it's more about freedom to me. That's why my family, that's why my dad and my mom decided to give up everything they had and come live here in America, you know, for me to be free. And when you decide to disarm me and take away my freedom so that you can feel more comfortable, you know, I can say I get it, but I think you also need to get it. And I think that's where a lot of the angst that you see from folks out there comes from, you know. Like I said, I'm sharing my situation so that you guys can see that things don't always go bad. In general, those guys out there were good guys. They were respectful, polite. You might hear a little bit of it. You know, I was telling them that I'm in the firearms industry. And we were talking, they were asking me stuff about the car, and, you know, I think one of those guys was from New York and all that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to come down on those guys. The person here that I have the biggest problem with is the sheriff in Alachua County, who he's deciding that he has this problem that happens every year, and I get it's a bad thing. I think maybe what they should do is have a heavy police presence over there and deal with that family. I don't think it's the best thing in the world for him to every year set up there and go after people who look like me every year. I think that at some point someone's going to realize, or should realize, that that's a little unwise. If people decided to investigate and see who's getting pulled over there, and then we find out that there's racial profiling going on. I have no problems with profiling, but to just go after the people that have the wrong skin color or the matching skin color of the folks who are giving you trouble, I think there's an inherent problem with that, and that's what makes folks mad. That's what is bringing about a lot of what's happening out there. You know, and it's how we all deal with stuff. It's not just how the citizens that you deal with you and they treat you respectfully. But when you've got so much power that you can decide to put all these units on an Easter Sunday out there and harass people who are driving by, yeah, there's probably something wrong with that. And that's what people are getting upset about, you know? And it doesn't always go as well as it did in my situation. There's people who've lost their lives out here over it. And that's what the problem is. So to people who are not my friends, and those of you who are my friends in law enforcement, I agree with you. We need to have some kind of understanding of what you're going through. I get it. But I think that road goes both ways. It goes in both directions. You need to have a little bit of understanding of what we're going through. And that there are those of us who look like myself who are good guys, law-abiding, American, loving, freedom-loving people. And we get discouraged by the fact that so many of you out there want to judge us based on our skin color. Because you could see that these guys got even more nervous when they found out that I was armed. Even though I'm telling them, even though I'm showing them my CCW, they had to disarm me. And they're still going, they're still digging to try to find out, hey, can we get this guy on something? You know, I don't really understand why all of that's necessary. This is not New York. My dad lives in New York. A lot of my family lives there. I grew up there, and I don't live there. This is actually the first time something like this has happened to me since I've been here. And when you do things like this, it doesn't help. So that's it. You know, I thought I'd share that with you guys. It's been a couple of weeks. It's been on my mind. It bothers me. You know, I'm sure everyone's got opinions of it. Feel free to share your opinions. This is mine. I'm Hank Strange. Peace out.